History, they say, is written by the victors. The stories we know, the events we commemorate, and the heroes we celebrate are all shaped by those who emerged triumphant. But what if the victors were different? What if the pages of history were penned by another hand? But what if the victors were different? What if the battles had different outcomes, the treaties different terms, and the leaders different visions? How would our world look today? What if the world we knew, the world shaped by the outcome of the Great War, had taken a different turn? Imagine a world where the alliances shifted, where the strategies changed, and where the destinies of nations were rewritten. Imagine a world where the Kaiser's banners flew in triumph, where the German eagle cast its shadow across the globe. A world where the German Empire stood as the dominant power, influencing every corner of the earth. This is the world of Kaiserreich, an alternate history where Germany emerged victorious from the ashes of World War I, forever altering the course of the 20th century. In this reality, the map of Europe and beyond is redrawn, with new borders, new alliances, and new conflicts. This is not a tale of mere military victories, but of a world transformed. Cities evolve, cultures shift, and the very fabric of society is woven anew. The Industrial Revolution takes on a different hue, and the technological advancements follow an altered path. The collapse of empires, the rise of ideologies, and the clash of powers paint a vivid tapestry of what might have been. Monarchies crumble, republics rise, and new ideologies take root, challenging the old order and reshaping the world. From the ashes of the Russian Empire to the tumultuous streets of a radicalized America, the ripples of German victory spread far and wide. The political landscape of the world is forever changed, with new powers emerging and old ones fading into history. The world of Kaiserreich is a stark reminder that history is not predetermined, but rather a tapestry woven from countless threads of choice, chance, and consequence. Each decision, each event, and each individual plays a part in shaping the world we live in. And in this alternate history, we see just how different things could have been. The year is 1917. Europe is engulfed in the flames of the Great War, a conflict that has already claimed millions of lives and left the continent in ruins. Europe is mired in a bloody stalemate, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. The once vibrant fields have turned into desolate battlefields, echoing with the sounds of artillery and the cries of the wounded. The trenches, running like festering wounds across the continent, are a grim testament to the horrors of modern warfare. Soldiers live and die in these muddy, rat-infested ditches, enduring unimaginable hardships. But the tide of war is about to turn. Strategic decisions and new alliances are shifting the balance of power. With the collapse of Russia's Eastern Front, German forces flood west, bolstering their lines and launching a series of devastating offensives. The German High Command sees an opportunity to break the deadlock and seize victory. The French army, stretched thin and demoralized, crumbles under the onslaught. The relentless German advance leaves a trail of destruction and despair in its wake. Paris falls, and with it the hopes of the Entente powers. The once unthinkable has become reality as German troops march triumphantly through the streets of the French capital. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in the Hall of Mirrors in a cruel twist of fate, is a victor's peace. It imposes harsh terms on the defeated nations, reshaping the map of Europe. France is humbled, stripped of territory, and forced to pay crippling reparations. The once proud nation is left to rebuild from the ashes of defeat. Britain, though spared the full brunt of defeat, is left reeling, its empire weakened and its global standing diminished. The war has taken a heavy toll on its resources and morale. The Russian bear, already wounded by revolution, is dismembered, its vast territories carved up into German puppet states. The once mighty empire is now a shadow of its former self, fragmented and vulnerable. The aftershocks of the Great War reverberate far beyond the battlefield. In the factories and shipyards of a defeated France, a new ideology takes root. Syndicalism, fueled by the resentment of the working class and the perceived failings of the government, syndicalist unions launch a general strike that cripples the nation. The Third Republic, already teetering on the brink, collapses. Across the Channel, Britain watches in horror as its strongest ally succumbs to revolution. The dominoes begin to fall. Inspired by events in France, British workers rise up in their own syndicalist revolution. The monarchy is overthrown and the once mighty British Empire begins to crumble. The flames of revolution spread like wildfire, igniting the hopes of the downtrodden and striking fear into the hearts of the established order. Across the Atlantic, the United States watches the events in Europe with a mixture of horror and fascination. Though spared the horrors of the Great War, America is not immune to its aftershocks. The rise of syndicalism sends shockwaves through the American labor movement, while the influx of refugees from war-torn Europe further strains the nation's social fabric. The stock market crash of 1929 pushes the nation to the brink. As unemployment soars and social unrest grows, radical ideologies take root. The Second American Civil War erupts, pitting the forces of the federal government against a patchwork of factions, from the syndicalist Combined Syndicates of America to the isolationist Pacific states. America, once a beacon of hope, descends into chaos. Under the Kaiser's banner, Germany charts a new course. Germany, the victor of the Great War, stands ascendant. The Kaiser's dream of a German-dominated Europe is a reality, but victory comes at a cost. The German economy, strained by years of war, struggles to adapt to peacetime production. The seeds of discontent, sown by the hardships of war and the demands of a vengeful peace, begin to sprout. Admiral Alfred von Tirpitz, a hero of the war, emerges as a steadying hand. His pragmatic leadership guides Germany through the turbulent post-war years, but the nation remains deeply divided. Nationalists clamor for further expansion, while socialists and communists dream of a different kind of revolution. Germany, for all its newfound power, walks a tightrope. The African colossus Mittelafrika's rise. In the heart of Africa, a new power is rising. Mittelafrika, a vast German colony formed from the spoils of war, stretches across the continent. Rich in resources and strategically vital, Mittelafrika becomes a cornerstone of Germany's global ambition. The Kaiser's dream of a German empire in the sun seems within reach, but building an empire is no easy task. The diverse populations of Mittelafrika, united only by the yoke of German rule, simmer with resentment. Tribal rivalries, fueled by German policies, threaten to erupt into open rebellion. The dream of a harmonious multi-ethnic empire clashes with the realities of colonial exploitation. The Internationale's dawn. Following the syndicalist revolutions in Britain and France, the British and French governments would flee into exile. In their place rose the Commune of France and the Union of Britain, two socialist nations right in the heart of Western Europe. However, these two new powers were not without their enemies. Both the German Empire and the old British and French governments in exile viewed them with disdain and distrust. So, in order to protect themselves, the two syndicalist nations formed a new military alliance, the Internationale. This alliance was not just a pact of mutual defense, it was a symbol of a new world order. The Internationale sought to spread the flames of revolution across Europe and beyond, challenging the old empires and capitalist states. With their combined military might and ideological fervor, they posed a formidable threat to the status quo. The German Empire, wary of the growing power of the syndicalists, began to fortify its borders and strengthen its alliances. The stage was set for a new conflict, one that would determine the future of Europe and the world. The Internationale's influence extended far beyond military alliances. Propaganda, espionage and subterfuge became their tools in the struggle for dominance. In countries across Europe, syndicalist movements gained momentum, inspired by the successes of the Commune of France and the Union of Britain. The old order was crumbling and the new dawn of the Internationale was on the horizon. As tensions rose and alliances shifted, the fate of nations hung in the balance. The dragon's shadow of fractured China endures. In the Far East, the ancient Chinese empire lies in ruins, a victim of its own internal strife and the predations of foreign powers. The fall of the Qing dynasty has plunged the nation into chaos, with warlords vying for control of the remnants of a once great empire. Japan, its imperial ambitions whetted by the chaos in Europe, eyes its larger neighbor with predatory interest. Germany, though its reach extends across the globe, treads cautiously in the Far East. The Kaiser sees opportunity in China's chaos, a chance to secure valuable trade routes and resources, but he is wary of becoming bogged down in a distant conflict. The balance of power in Asia, as in Europe, remains delicately poised. The Entente's resolve. Following the syndicalist revolutions in Britain and France, the remnants of the British and French governments fled abroad to what was left of their imperial territories. The French government in exile sought refuge in their North African colonies, while the British established their new government within the Dominion of Canada. Scattered across whatever imperial territories they had left, the remnants of the old order clung to hope and resilience. Though exiled, they were far from defeated. Both governments proclaimed to their people that one day they would return to reclaim their homelands from the syndicalist grip. With steely determination and a vision of restoration, the remnants of the old British and French governments forged a new military alliance. An alliance that would stand as a beacon of resistance against the Internationale, the Entente. In their new bastions, they began to rebuild their strength, gathering resources, training soldiers, and fostering alliances. Each day, their resolve grew stronger, fueled by the unwavering belief that they would one day march back to their homelands, not as exiles, but as liberators. The Entente was not merely a coalition of the displaced. It was a promise to the future, a testament to the enduring spirit of nations that refused to be extinguished. Even as the Internationale grew in power, the Entente's determination only hardened. The stage was set for a titanic struggle, one that would determine the fate of Europe and the world. The fires of war had not yet consumed the last vestiges of the old order. In the shadows of their former glory, a new hope was kindling, ready to burst forth and challenge the syndicalist tide. The Entente would rise, and with it the promise of a world restored. As 1936 dawns, the world stands on the brink of yet another great war. The echoes of the past conflicts resound through every nation, every continent, shaping the destinies of millions. The stage is set for a global clash, a cataclysm that will decide the future of this fractured world. But as war looms on the horizon, only one question remains: who will emerge victorious in this alternate timeline? Will America remain a single nation after all opposition is purged in its second civil war? Will the British crown ever return to its homeland, reclaiming its lost glory from the syndicalist grip? Or will syndicalism, with its revolutionary fervor, spread to every corner of this new world, engulfing all in its path? The Entente stands resolute, a beacon of hope and resistance against the rising tide of the Internationale. Meanwhile, Germany's ambitions grow, its eyes set on securing its dominance and shaping the future of Europe. In the heart of Africa, Mittelafrica's influence spreads, a testament to the German colonial might. Across the vast lands of China, warlords and factions vie for control, each one a potential harbinger of change. The fate of this alternate timeline is up to you, for this is the world of the Kaiserreich, a world where every decision, every alliance, every conflict will shape the destiny of nations. As the fires of war ignite once more, the world holds its breath, waiting to see who will rise and who will fall. Welcome to the Kaiserreich, where history is rewritten and the future is yours to forge.